Well, good morning. Thanks for joining Jonathan and Julie in the morning. Good morning, Julie.
And rising, Jonathan. Good to
Oh, yeah. Well, sun is just coming up. Looking nice out here. I'm sure it's been up there for about an hour.
lucky
Um,
you.
so this morning I want to talk about a human trafficking ring that was just taken down over in California. And
It's a big one
yeah, that was
too.
a big one. There's over 600 arrests made on this. And so I do want to share that with the audience as well. So this is actually a pretty big
Absolutely.
bust.
Good.
Let's see if we can get this over.
A large part of the operation taking place right here in LA County, considered a hotbed for human trafficking.
Among the victims, teenagers from all over the country, some as young as 13. And Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia is live in downtown LA with all the details. Sid.
It's the 12th year in a row that this task force has been going after human traffickers. And in this latest one that happened about a week and a half ago, they made hundreds of arrests.
Human trafficking and child exploitation are devastating crimes.
The last week of January, local, state, and federal law enforcement teams went out to pick up solicitors and providers of young girls and boys involved in sex trafficking. They call it Operation Reclaim and Rebuild. Statewide, more than 600 arrests were made. 156 adults and 14 children were rescued from the streets of LA and up and down the state. The task force also confiscated several weapons in their week-long sting. Young girls and boys given a second chance to reclaim and rebuild their lives.
Survivors need care. They need time. They need a chance to rebuild their lives. And our partnerships with these organizations are what allows those individuals to reclaim their lives and rebuild their lives.
There's a number of service organizations the deputy chief alluded to that help the victims of human trafficking start over and rebuild their lives. These groups work hand in hand with law enforcement to help survivors of human trafficking. Sarah Elender is with Saving Innocence.
Because together we create something far greater than the sum of all of our parts. A unified and collective, collaborative response to meet survivors just where they are with just what they need.
Right now, those involved in human trafficking of a minor face a felony. For the trafficking of an adult, it's a misdemeanor.
So I would ask our state leaders who actually created the felony dealing with minors involved with human sex trafficking.
So let me understand that for
Yeah,
for trafficking of an adult, that's a in California.
that is crazy.
Unbelievable.
I mean, that's slavery.
Unbelievable.
They're just putting it under another
You got it.
name.
To also go ahead
Wow.
and make it all of human sex trafficking is a violent and serious offense.
So if you suspect human trafficking may be going on where you live, or you may know a victim of human trafficking, the easiest thing you can do to help that victim out, call 911 and report it. Live in downtown LA, I'm Sid Garcia, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Wow.
So you want to talk about how sick things have gotten in this country. That the human trafficking part right there, that's just unacceptable. And you are way and somehow you're way down in this bottom screen.
I don't back
There. Let's
up.
see if we can bring you up.
Hello.
There.
Howdy.
Now we can see you.
Howdy. Yeah, that trafficking is so everywhere. I mean, it's not just in the big cities, it is really everywhere. And a lot of people will turn their and say it doesn't exist, but
Yeah.
all over. So you just got to open your eyes and be aware.
And for California to say that's a misdemeanor for trafficking of an adult, that's ridiculous.
That's
That should,
unacceptable, but doesn't not surprising with new scum.
well, I think I could think of some other things they ought to be doing to these human traffickers.
Yes, right.
But we don't quite get our way.
Not yet, hopefully, but hopefully soon.
And real quick, one last thing I wanted to share was with Tom Holman, what's going on.
Good.
This just came out. It's actually, I believe it's still in the live broadcast. I'm not sure why it's not sharing. Give me a second.
Sure.
Hold on a second. We got Mike Grant calling in. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing? Hold on one second.
Huh?
Give me 1 second. I gotta pause this video.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're live on the air.
Well, last night I couldn't talk to you because I went to this Dublin City Council
Right.
and they were doing agendas. They got down to an item that deals with legislation that they tried to stay, I don't know, current with the state legislators, which is all the clowns that we got called Democrats. And this council member, he's a raghead. And he's always, all he ever talks about is the undocumented. You know, we don't want to basically disclose where they're at or anything like that. So he wanted that language put into the legislative things for the city. And that's why I didn't get back to you last night, because he tried it last year and I got him overruled on it. Everybody was scared to do it. This year he did it again, brought it up, and they put it on. They actually put it in there. So once they start after speaking, they're done. You can't say anything else.
Right.
I was in my normal chair or seat, that call it a stadium seat. I've always got the same seat, sits up at the top against the wall. I don't like anybody behind me. And when they got done with it, they voted on it, did all that stuff. I stood up. I said, I don't care if I got a microphone or not. I stood up and I yelled at every one of them. I said, you guys don't have any authority over ICE or the federal government. I ripped them, and everybody was in shock. Nobody says anything. The cops are standing over. They just look at me because they all know me. And not one of them said a word. Nobody said nothing. The council looked like they'd seen Moses walk through part of the Red Sea.
Wow.
So that's what we're putting up with every day. And if people don't get out and start going to these council meetings and start pushing back, because what I'm trying to explain about this guy doing this is the same crap that they did in Minneapolis,
Right.
where these mayors and council members start telling the public about, we're not going to do this, and this, and it gives a false sense of security to these clowns to go out and protest.
Right.
And then you start getting out there and they say, well, I've got my council, the mayor says this and the governor says this, and what happens? Somebody pushes the wrong button on a federal agent. So anyhow.
Right.
That's what went on.
Well, Mike, that seems to be what they're doing all around the country. If they're out protesting one way, you can almost guarantee they're doing it the same exact way in every city. It just seems to be like an epidemic.
Yep.
So
And that group, Indivisible, their leaders for the Bay Area, 3 of them were in that state, in that council chambers sitting down to my left, and not one of them got up and said, they don't even look. They know who I am. I was there ripping about something else, ripping this city about something else. But this was an agenda item, and I didn't put a speaker slip in for it, or I'd have went down there and ripped that guy's butt. But now I'm going to get him. I'm just going to start writing letters to the editor about it, calling him he's a socialist communist, and he believes in open borders. I'm just going to blow this council member up.
Yeah, yeah.
If you follow his lead, he's going to get you killed.
You said this guy's a Muslim, right?
Yep.
So, well, that seems to be how they're doing it from city to city. A lot of it's even going on out in Texas right now as well.
Yep.
And that's the last place I thought I'd ever see it was in Texas. So,
well, I wouldn't expect to see it in Texas, but I expect to see it out here. But,
yeah. Well, it's definitely in Texas now too.
These politicians, and this is when I got done, I went down to the council, the dais area. Man, those people, the two of them, they scatter like rats when they see the cheese coming. They haul that like a trap. They took off running back to their chambers behind. And the city manager, when he comes out, they were, just everything's going to be like this. Everything is going to be okay. You people are causing a major problem, and there's going to be a time when they come to the Tri-Valley, and these people are going to start going out and interrupting their process, and somebody's going to get hurt.
Yep.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you. You guys you got enough to do. You're local. You don't need to be diving into national politics. They don't. And that's where it starts at the grassroots. What I'm trying. They've been saying this for a long time. I don't know who it was nationally said. You got to get out and you got to get to these local politicians because they're the ones that are. They used to be they drove it from the top down. They're not doing that anymore. They're driving it from the bottom up. I mean, I'm not saying you guys don't know, but the bottom up, and you've got to get out to those council meetings and stop this radical crack going on.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. If people don't get out to these council meetings, nothing's ever said about any of this, and then it just happens.
I mean, think about this. They would have never stopped selling the panels at the wall off in December of 24.
Right.
At Sassabee, if we wouldn't have caught them.
That's right.
Put that out all over the news. Instantly, Tucson had it on, and they stopped moving and selling the panels.
Well, that's kind of what they did when we exposed Yuma as well, because there's still a pile of the wall down there in Yuma. So.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry if I said, talking about when we caught them in Sassabee, and we were following them all the way up, and they were going to Red Rock.
Yep.
And we put that in the Tucson news. That stopped them selling the panels off right there, right now. Boom.
Yep.
It was over with. Because they didn't want that publicity. And that's why those government officials were after me in that parking lot, because until I needed to delete my video, which I deleted one, but they didn't see I had two of them. And then you told me to bring it back, so I brought it back, and I think I sent it to you too, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
So, I mean, that's what it takes to stop them, to get these people, and that's what I'm going to have to do up here, because I'm the lone soldier. There ain't nobody even standing next to me up here. I'm by myself. Yeah. I don't understand where they're all at. I'm not going to go out and beat the drums to get them all here.
Yep.
My point is you people are going to find out the hard way that there's going to be major problems here in the Tri-Valley, and the people get hurt. I've got them. It's on video. They're going to be the ones in trouble with the public because they enforced violence is what it boils down to. Resistance is what it even said resisting.
Yep.
You don't resist nothing.
So for our viewing audience out there, if any of you guys are out near Dublin, California, look up Mike Grant under Guns Unlimited on Facebook. And Mike is having a lot of problems with the city council out there in Dublin, California, and not to mention the Muslims are trying to take over a lot of the stuff in that area as well. And we need to help Mike put a stop to this. So, um, well, I appreciate you calling in this morning, Mike. And when's your next council meeting?
They're up. They're the first and the third Tuesday of the month. So this is the first Tuesday, I guess, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, keep us
And then the next one will come up.
keep us informed of your next meetings that you know of, and we'll try to announce a day in advance and see if we can't get you some extra support out there in Dublin, California.
Okay, we'll see you later.
All right, buddy. All right, bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay.
Well, and on that topic, just as a and tune into their local city councils over COVID, they put us, and so folks can now view it from your own home. So I would highly, if you can't show up physically, at least show up on the videos.
A lot of problems going on out there with the Muslims, and they're really trying to take over Dublin, California area. And I know this
Sure
is
sounds like it.
I know this has gone on over in Texas now, Minnesota, Indiana, areas of Indiana.
Mhm.
And it's just progressing. I know there's even mosques that they're trying to put out near Phoenix right now, and I hope they put a stop to it. But again, unless the American people speak out or attend these events and let their voices be heard, you know, most of this crap is happening unnoticed because nobody's aware it's happening because nobody attends these kind of meetings.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why Mike Grant does take time to attend these meetings because it definitely concerns him in his area.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, okay, well, we were in the middle trying to share Mr. Holman.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can make this thing work this time. Okay. And it's not sharing, ain't that lovely? So let's try this way. We are going to try this one more time. Have to go through a back door on this, as usual. Okay, this should do it.
I have 100 years
There we go.
in law enforcement, immigration enforcement.
Let me
I
turn
worked
it up,
around 30
please.
years ago in Dallas, Texas. I've been with the Border Patrol's entire career.
And
During my press conference last week, I reported
Is that better?
productive discussions with
that's
various
better.
state and local officials, including Governor, Attorney General, Mayor Fry, and law enforcement officials about increasing coordination in a lawful way between the county jails and ICE to avoid public safety threats being released back in the community. While we had our differences, one thing was clear: we all committed to public safety for all who live in the Twin Cities. We have made significant progress under the direction of President Trump, working with state and local officials here in Minnesota, and I expect that to increase in the coming weeks. We continue to have discussions. I'll have discussions this afternoon. We currently have an unprecedented number of counties communicating with us now and allowing ICE to take custody of illegal aliens before they hit the streets. Unprecedented cooperation. And I'll say it again. This is efficient, requires only 1 or 2 officers to assume custody of a criminal alien target rather than 8 or 10 officers going into the community and arresting that public safety threat. This frees up more officers to arrest or remove criminal aliens. More officers taking custody of criminal aliens directly from the jails means less officers on the street doing criminal operations. This is smart law enforcement, not less law enforcement. It's safer for the community, safer for the officers, and safer for the alien. This coordination also makes it far more safe for the Twin Cities. Arresting a public safety threat.
Okay, now I have not confirmed this yet, Julie. I understand
Mhm.
why Minnesota right now is working with Holman, and come to find out, and I haven't confirmed this yet, but Holman made it quite clear if they continue to intervene on this, he's going to have his ICE agents arrest them, the governor
But
and the mayor.
why the hell they're guilty? They're
Well, exa-
already guilty of impeding. So yeah, all right. So give them
yeah,
another freaking free
yeah,
pass.
but I got a feeling I know the answer to why they're not doing it yet.
Okay.
Because right now this is in the middle of an investigation. They're looking into how much of the corruption and everything that Tim Waltz is involved in with all the fraud out there in Minnesota, as well as
Yeah.
Ray, what phrase? Yeah, Bray. So,
Yeah.
and here's the
Right.
thing:
Right.
while they're out of jail, they they are squealing so much about everything to everybody that they're getting more intel by them being out of jail versus locked away. um,
Well, I don't comprehend what you're saying.
in other
Who's locked away? I don't
so,
understand.
so in other words, these guys are basically telling what their plan is and what they're trying to do and what they're not doing before it even happens. They're telling the whole world, in their broadcast. I mean, you look at he meets with Waltz. Here's a good example. He meets with Tim Waltz. Gets a good agreement worked out with them, the whole 9 yards. Next thing you know, Waltz is bashing them all over TV.
Right.
And this is what's been going on. But yet,
Right.
then behind the scenes, Waltz is giving them authorization, and access to the jails and everything else in the book. So so
Okay.
so again, I I think this is part of their undercover operation, and I'm not positive on this, but I think that's why they're not in jail yet, because they're in the middle of still gathering all the other information, and they got people coming forth squealing on Waltz now in Bray.
Right.
So
Right.
and the more they're out at large, the more information they're gathering. So, in other words,
Okay.
don't reel in the fish until you're ready to hang it. So, but that's just my thoughts on this matter, and I could be
Well,
wrong.
you're probably right. You're probably right.
But again, if you're doing an investigation work or whatever, you don't let the person know you're doing the investigation work. You know,
Right.
yep, you just want to carry on as usual, and
Well, especially has anything to do with military tribunal.
right.
They don't tell anybody ahead of time that they're
So,
investigating.
so in other words, if you don't make Tim Waltz and Frey feel like you're getting ready to go to jail that day or whatever, or whatever, um, they start to relax a little bit, is what I'm
Mm.
saying, and they
Yeah.
get more
Yeah.
comfortable, at blowing their own cover.
Right. 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 Yep.
Well, anyways, let's see.
Yep.
And the safety and security of a jail is the safest thing we could do. Further, less public safety risks are being released back into the communities, reduces recidivism. So local law enforcement can direct their limited resources to other public safety matters in their community. This is another priority of President Trump. The state prisons already cooperate with ICE on this coordinated transfer of custody, and we thank them for that partnership, and we plan to do more with them. I also want to reiterate and emphasize, we are not requiring jails to hold people past their normal release time for immigration purposes. We're not asking anyone to be an immigration officer. We are not asking any state or local official to do immigration enforcement activity. They are not. By merely notifying us, before they release them. They don't hold them 1 minute past they normally would. Given this increase in unprecedented collaboration, and as a result of the need for less law enforcement officers to do this work in a safer environment, I have announced effective immediately, we will draw down 700 people effective today. 700 law enforcement personnel. We have also fully integrated CBP personnel into the ICRO team structure under one unified chain of command. Not two chains of command, there'd be one chain of command here. Any large enforcement operation I've ever been involved with, there's one chain of command, and that's where we're moving forward. During my press conference last week, I announced that moving forward, ICE will be conducting targeted immigration enforcement operations, like ICE has traditionally done for decades, based on reasonable suspicion to question and detain. ICE will conduct these operations and transnational criminal organization investigations with a focus on national security and public safety. I want to be clear. Just because you prioritize public safety threats don't mean we forget about everybody else. We will continue to enforce the immigration laws in this country. To help execute this, we have developed and implemented a multi-agency surge task force with an operational framework that clarifies lines of effort, integrated enforcement, investigative and special response efforts. A unified joint operations center has been established to manage all operations and ensure efforts align with priorities of the mission. This reorganization also enables ICE to leverage joint intelligence capabilities to effectively target threats, as well as to reduce the overall personnel footprint and enhance public safety and confidence in the agency's capabilities and presence here. I've also ensured that officials from legal internal affairs offices remain on the ground as long as this operation continues. During our efforts to identify and implement improvements of how operations are planned, conducted, and managed, we identified a gap in regard to the use of body-worn cameras. This was actually raised by the workforce when I started walking around talking to people here. Some officers and agents had them, some didn't. That inconsistency was unacceptable, so we moved immediately to prioritize full body cam deployment in the city. I discussed this with Secretary Noem a couple of days ago, and she made the decision to deploy them. The plan is to deploy them nationwide, but it's a priority for the city right now. There's actually $20 million in the spending bill to further fund the deployment of body cameras. The president is supportive of this decision because we have nothing to hide. We want to be fully transparent in what we do. The American people seek and deserve professional and trustworthy law enforcement, and I and the president expect that any misconduct will not be tolerated and will be swiftly addressed. The integration, structuring, and resources we have implemented would help ensure accountability and that targeted enforcement operations have a focus on national security threats and public safety threats, and they are conducted effectively, safely, and appropriately. Again, this is smarter enforcement, not less enforcement. For those who are not a national security threat or public safety risk, you are not exempt from immigration enforcement actions. If you're in the country illegally, you are not off the table. And let me be clear, President Trump fully intends to achieve mass deportations during this administration, and immigration enforcement actions will continue every day throughout this country. President Trump made a promise, and we have not directed otherwise.
And you know, you really got to admit that, Julie. That's enough of this for this morning. But you've really got to admit, you know, everything that Donald Trump has made and promises, he's kept those promises. And you
Yep,
know,
agreed.
and Tom Homan, he's had a heck of a responsibility on his shoulders, and The Democrats now are claiming that if they take control, they're going to have Tom Homan arrested. Oh yeah, they're going to go after him.
Cute.
But you got to keep it. But you got to keep in mind how many administrations has Tom Homan worked under?
4, I
Yep,
think. 3 or 4.
I was wanting to say four.
Yeah.
So you know, and now all of a sudden, so when he worked under the Biden um, Obama
By
administration,
Obama. Right.
under the Obama administration, he was busy making arrests, and he was.
Yeah.
Yep. And here's the thing: where were all the Democrats protesting then? You know, over the
Agenda
deport.
has changed. They have different talking and walking orders right now.
Oh yeah, you betcha. And that goes to show it right there. And you didn't see the Patriots out there protesting this back under the Obama administration.
Nope.
So, but this is just the kind of crap we deal with every day.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, you got some stuff you want to share this morning.
Yeah, I do. So it's in regards to the way that we, the people, have continued to be and sampled upon. We've been tested upon. So let me bring this up here and I'll share the. Okay.
All
And I'm
right.
going to. So this gentleman, I'm going to give goes to redacted for visiting with this gentleman. I'd like to question and bring in and have him on the show as well. So he's just writing in. He's going to explain where this came about.
Force institutionalizing them, force medicating them. Bonnie Kellerby never consented for those those were done non-consensually. And what may surprise you if I asked you, is this legal to do in states? And I would come back and say, right now, illegal to do you without your consent. In 2016, President Obama instituted the 21st Century Cures Act, citizens as a way to fight the opioid epidemic, a crisis that we were having here in the United States. And it was a section called 24, which is this. It is legal on U.S. citizens without their consent, as long as it does not exceed minimal risk criteria. The question is, what is minimal risk criteria? It doesn't happen in normal everyday life. And I would ask this: does death happen in
Hey,
normal everyday
Julie.
life?
Yeah.
They are further protected.
Can you
If
see
you are
it?
Yeah,
be
but
and
can
you
we
do a FOIA request to
can
see
we
it,
slow that down just a hair? The speed.
Sure. Yep.
an experiment, it is protected under national security protocol. That data cannot be shared with 24. The administration extended it to private entities, private research institutions, and universities.
So if you go to a doctor's visit or someone's going to give you a shot, Obama instituted this, they could inject you with something.
Perfectly legal. And you might be, yes, a software engineer who a dentist recently. And under the authorization, there is a section there that they're data with the federal government, law, NSA, research institution.
Wow.
Why does that need to be included? I didn't believe a client who said collecting our data. I had to find that, and they will allow me to show you acted aspects of their signed forms, and it absolutely says your data with the NSA. So why?
I'm sorry you live in this world, so this is to you, but take the kids to the dentist, you're just filling out, you're just going to the dentist. You don't realize that the NSA, every dentist, but in certain situations, I guess, that your child might be injected with something in the NSA, you have no recourse.
A citizen currently to experiment on this with consent. We actually, this is why we're out here educating the population. We have a URL called Stop 3024, And we're asking for everyone to sign that. We would have expected we'd have 1 million signatures right now, but we don't. Reality is that this before our very eyes, and we can go deep down what this technology does. In 1994 is the 21st century cure declassified document that was obtained request, and on page this to keep the United States Air Force for years into the future. On page 89 is a chapter called Bioprocesses of this report. It talks about using RF technology to remotely influence the human body, our biochemistry, our thought processes. And in it is that they erase memory set and imprints. That means that they can take a memory attribute that they want to institute and imprint it in another set. And they can erase memory sets. Now, people found sci-fi, but you can read it. It's in black and white. Go back to 1972 in California, correctional institutions is for experimenting on prisoners. Another document, States, Congress, Senate, that talks about modifying human behavior. And in 1972 at Vacaville Prison, they were able to remotely monitor biometrics. That means your respirations, your rate, temperature, your blood pressure. But in the section, it all remotely read your thoughts.
Wow.
That was 1972. In 2013, there's a gentleman by Dr. Ido in Israel, and he's holding up a syringe. He says, I just syringe from my lab, not the full syringe. He says that the 1,000 billion nanorobots is what he was. They're 50 nanometers size. That's 2,000 times the width of a human hair. You can never see it, it's visible. But what these robots can do can self-assemble. They can attach to your DNA. And he teaches his students, and he said in the presentation, how to code these things once they're in the box controller. That is what we're dealing with. This is basically computer programmed nanoscale technology that we are now covering, that we know that it's been in the 5 mRNA vaccine. Also in the xylocaine derivatives, registration that we sent you, Dr. Edo Bachelet's nanorobots next to the xylocaine derivatives, and they're identical. You can look at what that show what they were pulling out of the vaccines. You can see that they're identical. So the bottom line is, what can be done with this tech? You're able to do things. And what is meant future for us to come? It is not a good picture up and say this is not okay, and then we've been hiding, and this was done without our consent.
And just before we get more into the COVID vaccines and these detectables and what these things are, maybe you can a little bit here and kind of walk us through the Havana of this, and how you were first uncovered. People say, people say, oh, it's just people being crazy. Whistleblowers who've come forward and told us that they've gone through this. They've been targeted. Remember that they were specifically targeted with a directed energy weapon affecting the entire family. You can talk about the thing when you first discovered that there was something nefarious with Havana syndrome.
Okay, so Havana is a recent term. Okay, how I first became aware of who was close to mother. I met a gentleman by the name of Dr. Antonio, Texas, in 10. He was the author of a release called Saddle Terrorism in America. He wrote that book based on the same phenomenon happening to his feet. When I met him, he told me how he was meeting U.S. citizens, talking about hearing brain signal that was being transmitted to them. Long-term memory loss, brain headaches, vertigo, nausea, vomiting, but specifically, electric so is now defined as buffeting. Okay, now individuals are tortured and affected 324/7. It is completely debilitating, and what Dr. was utilizing our general frequency detector, scanning people, they can detect anything around their person, and yet we're positive. And I had said to him, "Isn't that enough to go to get further diagnostics?" He says, "No, it's as soon as they go when they hear auditory symptoms." He says they're being
Hey, Julie.
medicated.
Yeah.
They're being re-victimized. And I said, well,
Can you
as a
pause that for a
firefighter,
second?
paramedic.
Thank you. So this has been one of my biggest concerns all the time about going to doctors. You know, it's like, what are these doctors going to do when you're in there? You think you're getting a IV for one thing. You know, what's to stop these guys from injecting you with all this other crap instead? How do you
Yep.
how do you really know what's in that syringe? You know,
We don't.
I mean, because recently I just got done having IVs ran on me when I was in the hospital, and
Yeah.
you know, again, I made them show me exactly what was supposedly in that needle, you know, and I watched it every step of the way for the IVs. But
Mhm.
again, just because it's labeled one thing doesn't mean that's 100%
Right.
guaranteed that's what's in it. And that's
That's
my
right.
biggest fear with doctors because I don't trust any doctor. Well,
Yep.
I trust one doctor that I know very well. But other than that,
Overall,
yeah,
they've all been trained to accept whatever's put in front of them when it comes to these drugs,
exactly.
right? And the pharmaceuticals. And has their lanes. You've got the doctor, you've got the pharmacist. So along this, I want to bring up, we're talking about knowing what's inside the jab that they might give you.
Yeah,
So I was very at the start of very involved with pushing back against the jab, and because I had done some research and found of which was that COVID had a patent number and that it stood certificate of vaccination ID. That was a big red flag to me. But then we did was we went to a different pharmacies
right.
in the Midwest here and trying to get them to stop administering this. So we were able to get on where finally opened up the insert. I don't know if you guys have ever or seen any inserts, but there's normally it's about a 2 by 3 foot piece of paper that has all of the ingredients and all of the potential side effects, okay, and don't and all this other stuff. This pharmacist opened up that for the jab blank, and the sheet said intentionally blank.
Wow.
And so what does that tell us? That tells us that yes, this was an jab, and we have no idea what was
That's
in it.
right.
So now more research with this gentleman, and he says that from Obama's era that we're able to be monitored and be tested as government. Whoa.
Yeah.
Now these nanobots. So this is something is very concerning. The folks, the morticians that what after the person dies, it's called
Embalming.
well, that part, they're pulling out huge pieces of fibrous materials that have been created by these little bio nanobots within people's bodies.
Wow.
So I will make sure that we get the video that we were just watching. I'll get that added to so that everybody can go in and one for themselves.
Right.
In the meantime, though, I would like to share, I did call up the petition that he, so I'm just going to go ahead and that real quick.
And while you're doing that, I want to give a reach out to Shane Weimer. He says, good morning. And David Wade, appreciate you being on here, David. And Shane Weimer, hope everything's going well out there in Idaho, brother. Sometimes I get a little homesick.
Yep. So can you see that all right? So it goes into the petition. Looks like they've only almost 16,000. He's wanting 1 million. So help them with this. So go on in. Again, it was stop 3024.com, I believe. There, and you just it gives you details and just let's
talk
about this. Their citizen. It goes through and talks about how it came about and that really impacting all of us. Know that our information is being shared. It's
right. Well, it looks like David Wade says, thank you to Dublin, California. He's talking about Mike Grant for sharing that stuff. They're the ones dispatching the asset recovery team. Let's see. Boy, well, it looks like he made a lot of comments. It was Homeland Services at the time. Look at my name up there. Okay. You arrested me too. It's literally impossible unless I walk. Okay. I'd actually have to get into the broadcast. Let's see. Donald J. Trump support Jonathan Townsend Alexander. Well, yeah, I appreciate you being on here, David. I'm actually going to be. Yeah. But either way, we've got this is all very concerning, Julie. Every last bit of it. I mean, and again, there for the longest time, if you even mentioned the word COVID, YouTube would shut you down. All these channels would shut you down.
That's why I was a little nervous to say it. I mean, there's still censorship, but yeah, so interesting was as interview went on, the gentleman was explaining how they really do make you look like you're literally hearing voices, your things, they're implanting things, they're able to hear and monitor your thoughts and plant other thoughts in your brain.
Yep.
So, it's scary. It is so very scary to me.
Not to mention they're probably microchipping you while they're at it.
That's what basically this is.
Yeah.
It's little tiny robots that then self-assemble and then can go and be the computer inside your brain. We don't know how it works. It just does. But they're already microchipping us. And or we have been. So it's very concerning to believe that he was talking about ways to detox and ways to learn how to get this these systems out of your body. But how scary is that? You think
Yeah.
you think it's just your being a nut job, but it's not actually being told job.
Right.
It's so sort of might explain a lot of the female liberals that are screaming their heads off and shaving their heads and all that stuff. Who knows? I
Yeah.
mean,
So I want to get out there real quick to you guys this afternoon. I believe it's going to be about 1 o'clock Mountain Time. We're going to be covering the Steve Stern election integrity again. It's going to go for about 2 hours. The program is so. I was
great,
asked to. I was asked to cover this live for them.
great.
So we're going to go ahead and get that out there to you guys, and then, um, boy, I'll tell you what, Julie, we're living in a very crazy times,
Uh, very
and
much
it's
so.
at this point, you just don't know what to expect from one day to the next. You really don't.
We really don't know what to expect, even of other people. I mean, I don't know about you, but my caveat of people that I used to hang around with has changed.
Oh yeah,
That people have changed over the last 6 years
yeah,
a lot, and it's very interesting. I think I'm just going to go back and say it. Always said it. This is biblical.
yep,
All of what we're experiencing is biblical. We are going through amazing times, but the reminder is my favorite quote: "If I do not go within, go without."
yeah.
And
Amen,
so
amen.
this is where we have got to listen to our own inner guidance for how we move through the
Right.
world, and and take it to prayer, like you say, John. You
Yep.
know, it's really time for us to really hunker down.
Well,
So,
the Bible made it really clear in the times as we're at.
mhm.
Families would turn against families. Friends
Which
against
has
friends.
happened over COVID.
Yep,
Look at what they did.
yep,
They kept us from each other.
and we're there, folks. I mean, you look at the people. You look at all the rioting going on around the country. And 90% of these people don't even know what they're rioting. They don't.
No, and they're
Yep,
paid
and they're paid.
for
Um,
this.
oh,
Yep,
speaking of which, I've got to share a funny for you guys this morning. So
good.
this is how bad it is for these Democrats. Just keep this in mind.
Okay.
But this is worth a laugh. I got to tell you.
All right.
Tell me what's going on today. They shut my Snap card off. Just gone because of this new thing, because of Trump. He says people have to work now or whatever. I can't. I don't have anything in the fridge. So what does that mean for you? He says I have to get a job. I haven't had one since college, and Tell me what's going on today. they shut my Snap card off. Just gone because of this new thing, because of Trump. He says people have to work now or whatever. I can't. I don't have anything in the fridge. So what does that mean for you? He says I have to get a job. I have
You-
Gotta get a
yep.
job.
I thought
Oh
I
no.
thought that was worth a laugh for the morning.
That's great. She got to pay for her blue hair.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Or she could sign up on a Soros and get paid for protesting.
Well, I'm surprised she hasn't figured that one out yet. Come on, chickadee.
But
Soros's funding is getting dried up
yeah.
from what I'm seeing, though.
My understanding, Julie, sounds like they're going to be seizing his bank accounts and several other things. And I'm
Hmm.
waiting to see that publicized. But that's what they're
Right.
saying they're going to be doing. Because these are that he has been basically funding terrorists. For
And and the Democratic Party, which is the same
well,
thing.
Democratic Party is terrorist.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the same thing.
100%, 100%. Um,
Yeah.
love me or hate me, guys. I'm just speaking it the way I see it.
Yep.
Um,
This
and
this
that
is what the truth
and that,
is.
and that's exactly what I call called the Democrat Party. They're the party of terrorists. And you know, the Democrats that we used to know back in the day, they were so different. We could actually even sit down at a dinner table, agree to disagree. You know,
Yep.
but nowadays it's like it's either you're one you're one side or you're the other side. There's no in
Well,
between.
and I find it curious that nearly every politician used to be a Democrat too,
Yep. Well, including Trump.
including Trump.
Yep. Including Trump. You know.
Very curious. Very
Yep.
curious.
But again, you can go back through time. I mean, you can go back, all the way. I mean, the Democrat Party is the party of slavery. I mean, look it up,
Yes.
folks. I mean, this was not.
Created it.
They're the ones that created slavery.
Exactly.
They're the
Jim
ones
Crow
that
laws.
they're the ones that created the KKK.
Yes.
you know,
And Parenthood
as
and Planned
yeah,
Parenthood.
as they're all sitting there wanting to say we're all of us Trump supporters are white supremacist KKK and everything in the book. Um, wh- I'm surprised they wanted to take that away from their party because
Right.
they're the ones that started it.
Oh, right?
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. I guess we all signed up to be KKK.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
When I did a massive deep dive at the start of 2020, and this is when I flipped. I used to be a Democrat. I even worked on Obama's campaign. The first,
Yeah.
I've met Biden, and he hugged me twice, and he was smelling my hair, and so it's when you do the research, which is what I've been doing for the last 6 years. It's amazing that it comes out and how everything inverted. Everything is
Yep.
people think are men are women. People we think are women are men. I mean, just the inversion on everything is we're living in the matrix. I mean, it's manipulation.
Yep. Well, sometimes kind of like God says, no, I won't say it. Somebody will say
God says, pay attention to
yeah,
your.
I was gonna say somebody say I'm promoting violence, so I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
no,
leave it there.
God. I think God is really working through a lot now.
Yeah.
But so is the devil, and so this is again we have got to take it to our hearts and really, really
Well,
go with
this is definitely a fight against good and evil. I mean, you look at Charlie Kirk
it is.
being assassinated. All the assassination attempts on Donald Trump. Hell, even some of the death threats I've gotten. Because
Yep.
I'm down on the border exposing crap.
Right.
But at the same time, we've just got to keep pushing forward. And the key thing, guys, never surrender,
That's right.
never give it. And I guarantee you one thing about this man here: I'll take my last breath fighting for this country, and
Same.
that's just where I'm at. Um,
Same.
and you'll literally have to put me 6 feet under before I'm done fighting. Um,
Right.
so, as I always say, on my way out of this world, I'm going to be skidding in sideways and going, "Man, it's been one hell of a ride."
I say the same thing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
because beyond that, like I said, I'm never going to surrender, and if you give in to the evil, evil will prevail. So, this,
Just remember, we're of the light.
yeah, this,
So just keep shining your light,
well,
everybody.
all right, guys. Well, we held our show early this morning. We both got a lot going on. Um, and Julie D, I know you got a busy schedule ahead, and we've been on
Yep.
actually just a little over an hour. So,
Yep.
so
Get the rest of the day rolling. I hope you guys
yep,
have a wonderful day.
yep,
And what's today? Hump day.
yep. And I've got to get the studio ready for the Steve Stern election integrity. So that way we can get
Excellent.
that way we can get it live broadcasted to you folks, and hope you guys can tune into that. Get involved with your elections, guys. Just get on board because right now it is important that we've got to keep this red. We got to,
Right.
you
Right.
know, because I'm telling you right now, and I've said it over and over, and I'm going to just say it real quick. You know, if we everything that Trump is doing, what we are fighting for in this country, you give the Democrats control, and I guarantee you, overnight they're going to have that border wide open again. They're going to have all the
Right.
crap, and it's going to be deja vu all over again, like Groundhog Day. You know,
Right. Right.
and it's important that we keep this land, the land of the free, home of the brave, and
Exactly.
we've got to fight for this land. So again,
Absolutely.
guys, get involved, please.
Yep.
Other than that, God bless all you guys. We'll see you again live here in a couple hours. And
Awesome.
have a wonderful day.
Take care, everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you again tomorrow.